I never imagined I would find myself in this situation. For years, I believed my marriage was unshakable. Emily and I had been together for 8 years, building a life, facing struggles, and emerging stronger each time. She was my best friend, my rock. But trust is a fragile thing. Once broken, it can never be the same again. That Friday night started like any other. I had just finished a long day at work and was looking forward to a quiet evening at home. Emily had mentioned earlier that her team was celebrating the completion of a major project. She assured me it was just a casual office gathering, nothing out of the ordinary. She had these events from time to time, and I never questioned them. Why would I? She had never given me a reason to doubt her before. At around 9 p.m., I was mindlessly scrolling through my phone when I received a text from an unknown number. Hey man, I don't know how to say this, but you should probably check on Emily. Something's not right, My stomach tightened. The message was vague but unsettling. I replied immediately, asking who it was. It's Jake from her office. Look, I wasn't going to say anything, but I saw something tonight that didn't sit right with me. I think you deserve to know, Jake. I had met him once or twice, a decent guy, polite, friendly. But now my pulse quickened. Something about his words sent a chill through me. I dialed Emily's number. It rang 3 times before she answered, her voice slightly off. Hey, babe, what's up? There was noise in the background. Music, laughter, muffled voices. It sounded like a party, not the quiet office gathering she had described. Just checking in. You having a good time? I asked, keeping my voice casual. Yeah, just a little longer and I'll head home, she said quickly. Love you. She hung up before I could respond. Something was wrong. Emily always stayed on the phone longer, always asked about my day. But tonight, she sounded rushed, almost nervous. I stared at my phone, my mind racing. Then another message from Jake appeared. I'm sorry, man. I just saw her coworker Ryan kiss her. She didn't push him away, The room seemed to spin. I read the words over and over again, hoping I had misunderstood. But there it was, plain and simple. Emily, my wife, kissing another man. A wave of emotions crashed over me. Anger, disbelief, hurt. I wanted to believe there was an explanation, that there had been some misunderstanding. But deep down, I already knew. I grabbed my car keys. I needed answers, and I was about to get them. The drive to the bar felt like the longest of my life. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles turned white. My heart pounded in my chest, a toxic mix of adrenaline and dread coursing through my veins. I wanted to believe there was some kind of mistake. Maybe Jake saw wrong. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe, no. I couldn't lie to myself. The way Emily had rushed me off the phone, the hesitation in her voice, the fact that she hadn't even mentioned Ryan being there, it all pointed to something being very, very wrong. When I pulled up to the place, a trendy bar downtown, I didn't hesitate. I stepped out of my car, took a deep breath, and walked inside. The moment I entered, I spotted her. Emily stood near the bar, a drink in her hand, laughing at something Ryan had just said. He was standing way too close, leaning in like he owned her space. And then, as if the universe wanted to drive the knife even deeper, I saw it. Ryan brushed a strand of hair from her face, his fingers lingering just a second too long. Emily didn't stop him. She smiled. Something inside me snapped. I moved before I could think. Within seconds, I was standing right behind them. Having fun? I said, my voice sharp and cold. Emily turned, her eyes widening in shock. Oh my God! What are you doing here? She stammered, as if I was the one in the wrong. Ryan, to his credit, didn't immediately back down. He just smirked, like this was some kind of game to him. "Relax, man, we're just celebrating," he said, his tone casual, dismissive. I looked him dead in the eye. "Celebrating? By touching my wife?" Emily stepped between us, placing a hand on my chest, but I didn't move. "It's not what it looks like," she insisted, but her voice was too high, too frantic. I glanced at Jake, who was standing off to the side, watching everything unfold. His face told me everything I needed to know. I turned back to Ryan. "You kissed her, didn't you?" His smirk faltered for half a second before he recovered. "It was just a friendly kiss," he shrugged. I laughed, a bitter, humorless laugh. "Friendly?" I repeated. "Is that what we're calling it now?" Emily looked between us, her face pale. "Let's just go home and talk about this," she pleaded, reaching for my hand. But I wasn't ready to go anywhere. I leaned in slightly, my voice low so only Ryan could hear. "You ever touch her again, and we'll have a much bigger problem." Ryan didn't respond. He just took a small step back. And I saw it, the flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. I turned to Emily. "We're leaving. Now." She hesitated, glancing at Ryan one last time before nodding. As we walked out of the bar, I felt a storm brewing inside me. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The car ride home was suffocatingly silent. Emily sat in the passenger seat, arms crossed, staring out the window like a scolded child. I could see her fidgeting with her ring, twisting it around her finger, something she always did when she was nervous. I wasn't sure if I was more furious at her or at myself. Furious at her for betraying my trust, or furious at myself for not seeing the signs sooner. Finally, I broke the silence. "Start talking." My voice was low, controlled. Emily sighed, like this whole thing was some inconvenience to her. "I told you already, it wasn't what it looked like." I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "You expect me to believe that? I watched him touch you, and you didn't stop him. You laughed. You let him get that close. And let's not forget, someone else had to be the one to tell me. Not you." She let out an exasperated breath. "Ryan is just a friend. He got carried away. I didn't want to make a scene at the bar." I shook my head, pulling into our driveway. "Do you hear yourself? You didn't want to make a scene, but you had no problem letting him put his hands on you in front of your coworkers." I parked and turned to her. "What exactly has been going on between you two?" Her jaw tightened. "Nothing." I didn't believe her. She opened the door and stepped out before I could say anything else. She was running, dodging, trying to shut me down. But I wasn't letting this go. I stood there, my chest tight with a mix of anger and heartbreak, staring at Emily as she sat on the edge of our bed. She looked small, fragile even, her fingers twisting together in her lap as if she could physically hold herself together. But I wasn't interested in her breakdown. I was drowning in my own. "You let him get this close," I said, my voice heavy with disbelief. "You wanted it." She shook her head violently, tears streaming down her face. "No, I didn't." But I didn't believe her anymore. I turned away, the weight of it all pressing down on me. The walls of our bedroom, once a sanctuary, now felt suffocating, closing in around me. "I don't know how to come back from this," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. And the truth was, I really didn't. The silence between us was deafening. Emily's shoulders trembled, her breath shaky as she tried to form words. But what could she say? What words could fix this? "I need you to be honest with me," I said finally, forcing myself to look at her. "No more excuses. No more dodging. Just tell me the truth." She sniffled, wiping at her swollen eyes. "I told you, I never cheated. I never slept with him." I scoffed, shaking my head. "You expect me to believe that after everything I just saw?" After the messages, the way he touched you? I know how it looks, she burst out, her voice raw and desperate. But I swear to you, Ryan was it was a stupid mistake. I let things go too far, but I never crossed that line. I stared at her, my mind a battleground of conflicting emotions. Part of me wanted to believe her, to cling to the hope that maybe this could be salvaged. But another part of me, the part that had spent the last few hours replaying every look, every text, every hidden moment, knew better. So what? I asked bitterly. You just liked the attention? She flinched but nodded, ashamed. I guess. Yeah. You've been so busy with work, and I don't know. He made me feel wanted. But it was never real. You're my husband. You're the one I love. Her words should have meant something. But they didn't. Not anymore. You didn't think I made you feel wanted? I asked, my voice quieter now. She looked at me then, and for the first time I saw something shatter in her expression. She knew. She knew she had destroyed something beyond repair. I don't know, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I let out a shaky breath, rubbing my hands over my face. Do you even realize what you've done to us? Her tears fell harder now. Please, don't give up on us. I can fix this. I can prove to you that it was nothing. I studied her, searching for something, anything, that could convince me she was telling the truth. But all I saw was regret. And regret wasn't enough. How do you fix trust, Emily? I asked, genuinely wanting to know. She had no answer, and that silence told me everything. I turned and left the room, needing space, needing air, needing something that wasn't the suffocating weight of her betrayal. I sat on the couch, staring at the blank television screen, my mind spiraling with thoughts I couldn't escape. Could I ever trust her again? Or was this just the beginning of the end? That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it all. The messages, the way Ryan touched her, the way she let him. And the worst part wasn't even the physical betrayal. It was the deception. The months of hiding, the lies, the choices she made over and over again that led us here. By morning, the anger had settled into something worse. Indifference. Emily was already awake when I walked into the kitchen. She looked like hell, her eyes red, dark circles shadowing her face. She sat at the table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee she hadn't touched. "Hey," she said softly. I ignored her and went straight for the coffee maker. "Are we just not talking now?" she asked after a moment. I poured my coffee, leaning against the counter. "What do you want me to say, Emily?" She hesitated, her voice breaking. "That you still love me. That we can fix this." I exhaled slowly. "I don't know if we can." She flinched like I had struck her. "You don't mean that." "I don't know what I mean anymore." Silence stretched between us, thick and unbearable. "I quit my job," she blurted out suddenly. I blinked, caught off guard. "What?" "I called my boss this morning. I told him I was done. I blocked Ryan. I even deleted social media. I'll do whatever it takes to prove to you that I'm serious about fixing this." I studied her, searching for sincerity. And for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. "And what if it's too late?" I asked. Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not. It can't be. I won't let it be." I set my coffee down and crossed my arms. "Why did you do it? Really? I want the truth." She wiped at her eyes, her breath unsteady. "I don't know. I think I liked the way he looked at me. I liked the attention. And I hated myself for it, but I didn't stop." She let out a shuddering breath. "I swear to you, I never planned on cheating. I got caught up in something I didn't know how to end. I looked away, my jaw tightening. You could have ended it the moment it started. She nodded, guilt etched deep in her face. I know. I love you, she whispered. I closed my eyes, willing the words to mean something. But they didn't. I wish that was enough. Her breath hitched, and before she could say anything else, I walked away. Over the next few days, she tried. She made my favorite meals, forced small talk, tiptoed around me as if she could fix what was broken. But every moment felt forced, tainted by what she had done. Then one evening, as I sat on the couch staring at the blank screen, she sat down beside me. "Are we done?" she asked softly. I turned to her. She looked exhausted, defeated, like she already knew the answer. "I don't see how we come back from this," I admitted. "I don't trust you, Emily. And without trust, what are we?" Tears streamed down her face. "I was hoping time would fix it. Time doesn't erase what happened. It just makes it clearer." She ran a trembling hand through her hair. "I don't want to lose you." "You lost me the moment you let him touch you," I said, my voice steady. "You just didn't realize it yet." And just like that, it was over.